Hi, I'm Sarah Noble, your host for the Modern Day Intuitive Podcast. For over 25 years, I've been on a spiritual journey, searching, learning, expanding, and growing. I've traveled the world, led by my heart, on a quest to know myself so that I can support others. This podcast was created from my deep desire to help you connect with your intuition and to inspire you to create a life where the impossible becomes possible and you live into your sacred dreams and desires. Thanks for being here and enjoy the show. Hello, loves. I'm here with another beautiful reading today with Tammy. And Tammy is having challenges communicating what she needs, and she's feeling that she's not heard. So we explore this topic for her, and the first thing we come across is how blocked her throat chakra is. And this is so many of us. It's not just Tammy, but this inability to speak that has been handed down through our family lines. And the importance of honoring that and clearing that and really getting in touch with your voice, your unique voice that is here for you in this lifetime. We also discovered that the back of Tammy's heart is really closed off. And this is the place where truth and trust live. And so expanding into that, allowing ourselves to be supported, having that truth and that trust come from that back body, from our heart, almost like a hand being placed behind us that's supporting us. We talk about what it can feel like to go through a spiritual upgrade and how this can be confusing sometimes. We talk about speaking your truth rather than explaining yourself and the difference with this. We look at trusting that you made the right decision when you decide something and to not question yourself and to really know intuitively that you made the right choice. We look at how slowing down is a superpower and how owning your power can look many different ways. We also talk about discovering your strongest intuitive gift and what this can look like for you. So before we dive into the episode, I do want to remind you of the Awakening Your Magic course that is free. There's a link in the show notes. I'd love for you to come and be a part of Alchemy, a school for the soul, and the community we're creating there. Also, if you are interested in discovering your strongest intuitive gifts, I do have a quiz, and there's a link for that in the show notes. You have 4 of them that are the main ones, and the quiz will help you determine which is your strongest gift so that you can practice and strengthen that one. Namaste. Enjoy my show. Enjoy the conversation with Tammy. Namaste. Hi, Tammy. Welcome to the podcast. How can I help you today?
Hi, Sarah. Thanks for having me. I would really love some clarity, guidance, or like whatever comes through. I'm entirely open to this challenge I feel like I've been experiencing around communicating and being able to be received fully. And I feel like when I speak with my husband, has been a repetitive pattern of really communicating what I need, and it's just not being heard. And it's happening in other areas in a business container I'm a part of, that just where someone in the container that's facilitating it was not, I didn't, in my multiple communications, whether it's sort of like the online community or in person, I feel that no matter how I'm trying to communicate, to reach out for support, like I feel like it's not being heard or addressed. And I'm aware enough to know that this comes from me, and I've done a process with someone else that sort of highlighted, and I did feel a shift from it, but something still feels like it's there for sure. Yeah. And if I may share just another piece of everything, is that there's a part of me that feels like there's this real subconscious thing that's coming up that I need to see, and it's not here yet, but I can really feel it. And I'm trying to wrap myself around it, and it's somehow I'm trying to balance something that I guess I'm not seeing with what I feel I should be creating. And yeah, I guess it's just being in my power around that. But it's yeah, I guess it just feels very scary, or I don't really know how to deal with myself. I don't know. It's just I guess it's the energy of falling back on this energy of confusion, which I've been in and out of, but it's definitely very present, and being able to articulate this feels very difficult within myself. So yeah, that's that's a bit long, but I hopefully yeah, you could support me in these areas.
Yeah, thank you for that beautiful share. And actually, while you've been talking, I've just been moving energy for you. There's a lot of blockage in your throat chakra, and there's actually like these clips and clamps that are around your neck and your throat. So I've just been working on those for you to let us see what's actually underneath that. Because a lot of this problem you're having is actually just an energetic problem from this considerable blockage that's on your throat chakra. So just breathe for me and sort of imagine that energy blowing out. And also, a big peacock came in while you were talking and is here. His tail feathers are all fanned open, and he's wrapping those feathers around you, like he's behind you, and he's just holding you. And it's interesting because a lot of time as power animals come in, I feel them as a feminine energy, but this obviously he's a peacock, he's male. Like it's a very masculine, loving, caring, divine masculine energy that he's bringing for you. And what's significant too is that his feathers are the colors of the throat and the heart chakra. And he's bringing awareness to those centers for you as well.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just enjoy that for a moment while I just feel in and see where this wants to go. Okay.
Okay.
So you're also leading me to the back of your heart and this feeling and sensation of the back of your heart being really closed down. And so the front of your heart is beautiful and open and radiate and shining. And then where the chakra sort of comes into the midline and then reflects out onto the back, like it opens up again, funnel wise onto the back, yours is really closed down in the back. So it feels very like a protection that happened. And what I know of the back of the heart, it's where truth lives and trust lives. So, where in your life right now do you feel that you're not trusting and that it's maybe hard to find the truth, or you're not trusting that things are in truth? Sort of playing in that field, like what comes up for you in that space?
I feel like this subconscious thing I talked about was, yeah, it's like, a part of me knows I need to just like trust in this unknown and trust myself through it. And yeah, to just navigate that. And I think I just fall off of that trust. Yeah, truth is a really big part of my, I guess, like speaking truth is my, within my Akashic records. And it does really resonate with me. And one of my high values is truth. And I know like on the other side of this, it's a part of me that is, yeah, it's beautiful what's on the other side. It's just that I just need some support as I'm moving through, I guess, the realms, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. When you say you need support, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I feel like a part of me is like looking to explain all this within myself that's occurring. And it's like, I feel like I'm looking for someone to like hear me and like acknowledge, validate, and, Yeah, even like celebrate with me, or just, I guess it's like, it's really the overall energy of being with is what it feels like.
And when you say
Um,
all this that is happening inside you or that is going on, are you referring to, like, what I'm sensing is that you're going through a spiritual upgrade? There's parts of you and your soul that are coming alive, and it's different for you. It's new. Are you saying, like, wanting somebody to be with you in that space of this new unfolding, or is it something else?
yeah, it is the unfolding, but it's also this like energy problem, so to speak, right? And everything else that is coming up in the sense of like past, I don't know, like, just there's just patterns, old patterns, trauma that is coming up through this. And it just feels very confusing within myself, whether it's, I think a part of myself is making it good, bad, right, wrong. And yeah, just looking for some sort of confirmation, or like, I guess to know that I'm okay or something.
Yeah. My love, spirit never gives us more than we can handle. You can do this. That's why it's happening. When we're not ready, things stay stuck, things stay hidden. But as we grow and we open and we become more aware that there's a whole other world around us that we weren't taught to see, the trauma wants to come out because it knows you can handle it. The dark places want to see the light and they start asking for it. So you're in a process of this. I feel it in my whole body, of this just lighting, awakening, and flowering into something bigger, into the more of the essence of who you truly are. And that can feel scary and it can feel alone a lot of the time because people around us don't always understand, because they're on a different path, they're awakening at a different time, or they're not awakening. And it can feel lonely sometimes in that space. And so what's happening for you is very okay. Like, it's normal. It's part of the process of your evolution and of your becoming more intuitive, becoming more in tune with who you are as a soul.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Like yeah, I know everything you're saying like resonates, and all of this. I think it's in combination with this communication block that I feel like, and maybe it's just like, and it depends who I'm talking to, or something like that. I'm feeling like this challenge with always explaining what I'm trying to say. And then I get stuck in the confusion, I guess. And yeah, and I guess that sometimes brings me down a spiral. Yeah, when I don't feel, heard and all that kind of stuff.
Well, what's happening there, my love, is by explaining yourself, you're taking yourself away from the truth. The truth, you're clear on things. It's when you fall into that explaining energy that you get muddled, because then you're trying to make it be like you're trying to have others understand it. And the focus gets to be on what your truth is and how you're saying it the way that you need to say it, and they get to figure out for themselves how to make sense of what you're saying. It's not your job to explain yourself. Your job to be you in your truth. And so I get the sense that the confusion comes from you trying to make it okay for other people.
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, the way where it's showing up is sort of in the business container I'm a part of, where I feel like I gotta fit with the flow of what's happening, and I'm not usually like I'm really on top of all this stuff, and I just don't, I'm not feeling the pull. And it's like, I don't even know why I'm part of this program I'm part of, actually. I know, and I don't, it's kind of, yeah, I didn't think that's, yeah, I think you're right about that. Like, I feel like I need to be something that where I'm not at.
Yeah. And what happens if you're not on top of everything? Like you said, what happens if you're not where you believe you're supposed to be or other people think you are?
It's just, I guess it's the old patterning of that's how I measure my worth or okayness, you know?
Yeah. What would it take to create a new pattern there?
Yeah, I guess it's just letting go of my mind, like I guess the what I invested in the program. It's letting go of like, the noise that says that, oh, you got three no's, three yeses for this program. And it's like, you were wrong, all those kind of noises comes up for me.
Well, what if you're not
Um,
wrong? What if those three yeses were real and you followed your intuition and you're in a container and the magic of why you're there just hasn't been revealed yet? What if it's not supposed to look the way you think it's supposed to look being in this container, but a whole other way that you haven't even thought of yet or perceived yet?
yeah, that is definitely a possibility and probably is the possibility. Yeah. And yeah, it's that it's all the it's like I should be making money and things like that. And that, all the voices that come up around that too. Yeah. I mean, I guess I just need to slow down and then allow myself to open up to that. Yeah. I guess at the same place, like, I guess sort of recognizing that I could do both. It's just that I don't feel the drive to do the business stuff too, So,
I don't remember who said it, but I heard somewhere recently that slowing down is their superpower. Everything starts to make sense when they slow down. It's the thoughts that propel you and make it busy and crazy and there's so much and I should be, and you get caught in that whirlwind and you can't hear spirit, you can't hear your guidance, you can't hear the magic that's trying to get your attention. And by taking that breath and by slowing down, you actually create more because now you are connected to source, you're tapped into your wisdom, and things can actually be heard. Like things can get your attention that are sitting there just waiting for you to slow down enough to see them.
hmm yeah, that I'm definitely open to that. I'm open to that. Yeah, I think it's that practice within myself. It's that like a lot of times, even when I'm speeding up, I hear the guidance, but I'm not necessarily honoring that. So yeah, I guess it's just, yeah, it's my practice in that, I guess, to listen to myself more deeply.
What is something you can do like tangibly to slow down, like in your life? How can you create that?
Yeah, just creating space and rescheduling things. Yeah, like I think I need to get clear how much time do I actually need? Because I did actually block out the rest of my schedule until the end of August. So besides a few things that I may feel yes to, that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's really creating the space and yeah, just being in power around that, I guess.
You mentioned being in the power of that, and one of the things we had talked about was you owning your power. And so, what if you blocking out your calendar, slowing down, letting joy into your life was owning your power?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I am. Yeah, I guess I have said this to myself a few times, but I guess I'm just noticing like how that's not necessarily always easy for me, and I'm sort of taking one step at a time with that, and then I fall and then I come back, and yeah, I guess like in the midst of the confusion energy and all this stuff, it kind of, yeah, I guess I'm not as strong as I normally have felt in this as I'm sort of going through it.
Well, that's also a part of a spiritual awakening, right? Is the way that we used to source our strength and the things that we did that we believed made us strong, they actually all have to fall away, because being strong in a spiritual sense is very, very different to the sort of material world way of being strong. It's actually being soft, being vulnerable, being open that creates your strength. And so there's this sense of your body trying to find an equilibrium between this old paradigm of what it meant for you to be strong and this new way that this inner wisdom inside you is asking you to be strong.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes sense. Like I feel like a lot of times it's, always hear like when I do my cards or whatever, I always like being told to open my heart and be more vulnerable and things like this. And it's like, I guess it's just never ending. I feel like it's like, yeah,
Well,
it's,
here that brings us back, right? So the back of your heart is closed. When I
mhm,
feel
mhm.
spirit with me, spirit's hand is like on the back of my heart, holding me, supporting me. And having trust and truth live in the back of your heart allow for that support to be felt. They allow for vulnerability to be okay, for the opening to be okay. And with this closed back of your heart in this area that's so important to be able to receive through, that could be why it feels that way. So rather than focusing on opening the front of your heart, if you can focus on opening the back of it and allowing spirit to support you, allowing more trust and more of your truth to be heard without explaining, then that allows that back of the heart to open. And so it's more natural that those other things don't feel so hard or challenging.
Mhm. I just like love that you could feel spirit's hand on your heart. Like I wish I had a like more concrete example for my like I mean a more tangible way that I receive support. Like I don't necessarily see something so tangible within myself that would be really helpful, actually.
Do you have a
Yeah.
meditation practice?
Yeah, I do. Sometimes I'm stronger at it and sometimes I'm not as strong at it, but I do have a practice that I do. It's just that sometimes it's guided and sometimes it's by myself and it yeah, translates differently each time.
Yeah. Well, in that space, just ask spirit to show you. Say, can you put your hand on the back of my heart? Can you hold me? Can I feel you, please? Let yourself be open. It's there, it's all around you.
Yeah. I try to tell myself that, but I guess I need to ask specifically, like maybe for something specific. And sometimes I feel shifts in my body. I mean, that kind of thing. But I just thought it was kind of cool to actually feel a hand on
Mhm.
on your back, on my back of my heart.
Well, let me
And
ask you this. When,
yeah.
when the when we started and the peacock came in, and I was describing, right? He was behind you and he was putting his feathers around you, holding you. And were you able to feel that in the talking?
No, I, I no, I wouldn't say so. My focus wasn't on that, nor was it obvious to me. I do feel, lighter in my throat. Yeah, and actually a little bit more open in the back of my heart than the front of my heart, surprisingly, right now. Yeah, I keep letting it in because I know that there's a pattern of holding things out that I'm not always aware I'm doing, I guess. Ah,
And it's just a learned response. And
mhm.
right, your feeling sensitivities, these extra abilities that we have, we used to be taught them. They used to be handed down. And as children, We were made aware of them and we used them and we incorporated them into our life. It was how we lived. But over time, they stopped teaching us, and just the senses that we learn in school and, like that's all that's taught. So these other senses just are out of practice. These other sensitivities that you have are right there. And so the more that you work with them, the more that you play around, you have fun, you experiment with what's possible, the stronger they get. And the more you feel them, the more you sense them, the more you notice them. And maybe feeling isn't your strongest gift. We typically have one of the clairs that we are strongest in before we have practiced them to strengthen them all. And so I find that it's easiest when you work in the channel that is your strongest in order to start receiving information. And so for me, that's knowing. So things just drop into my head and I know them. For you, it might be seeing, it might be feeling or hearing. And so play around. You might realize that feeling isn't your number one. And that's why you don't actually feel things, but you might know, or you might hear a voice saying something, right? So if you play with the gift that's stronger, there's more tangibility sooner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's definitely seeing, knowing kind of comes together, and then the feeling sense was the last one to come in for me. So like right now, if I were to sense into that, I feel like almost like not styrofoam, but something is surrounding me. It almost feels a bit suffocating, but I think they're trying to like hold me up so that I could go deeper into myself. And I think the styrofoam, because I feel uncomfortable going in myself too deeply. I think that's why the styrofoam feels kind of, yeah.
You can always ask, right? You can say, hey, this feels a little suffocating. I so love that you're here with me. Can we work with this a different way so that it feels a little more comfortable for me?
Yeah, thank you. That did work.
Yeah, they're always, your guidance is always wanting to do what is best for you.
It makes a lot of sense. And it's really helpful to hear it from someone who speaks it with so much love, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my love. What medicine are you making from this call today?
I feel that what I'm sort of getting from this is to really like stay strong in my own container, and to and not need to explain, myself. I think that's like, because then if I'm explaining myself, I guess I'm not necessarily holding that boundary of me, and like honoring like all the intuition and awareness I am receiving for myself, and celebrating and holding myself in my greatness, and probably a lot more love and compassion for where I'm at. And I guess being vulnerable and just asking for what I need a little bit more directly.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Does this feel like an okay place to land for today?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for being here today and making your personal and spiritual growth a priority in your life. To learn more about connecting with your dreams and your intuition so that you can create a life full of possibilities, visit me at www.sarahnoble.com and see how we can create magic together. A big thank you from my heart to yours for making the planet a better place for us all.